Okay.
Yeah. All right. We are going to get started down on our backs. On our backs, and I don't want to say Shavasana because I do want butterfly legs. So soles of the feet together, knees wide when we are down on our backs. So lying down, arms wherever you want them to be comfortable, and then butterfly legs. Just to take a moment to breathe. Take a moment to forget about anything else that you have going on in the space around you. Taking this moment to breathe, for one, and for two, focus on you and your mat. We are going to flow today. Flow to work out the Monday weirds. I'm going to say the Monday weirds because it's a weird Monday. And then we're going to really work a lot of standing hip work. But in a fun way, of course. So allowing yourself to just breathe. Notice if you have any areas of tightness or tension. And then as we go through the practice today, we're going to give those areas a little bit more breath, a little bit more energy, and a whole lot of grace. Lifting the knees up, putting the feet down on the ground, and then pull your knees into your chest. Really hug your knees in close. Squeeze them there. Rock side to side if you want. And then rock forward and back a few times. So I did change the grip on my thighs. I actually went underneath my calves. And then after rocking a few times, really kind of caressing your spine, the next time you come back up, see if you can stay up almost in a boat pose. And this is where you're like, oh, Deanne, I thought you said we were going to do like standing hip work. We are. But we're going to prepare our hips. We're going to take those abdominals and those hip flexors and say, hey, wake up. Let's get ready with a little boat pose. So I'm holding my thighs. I'm hugging my thighs into my chest as much as I can. Now, there's not a whole lot of work going on with my arms. It's not like I'm squeezing and tensing. They're pretty chill. Maybe yours are. Maybe yours are squeezing and clenching, and that's okay. Next, exhale. Put your feet down. Hug your knees. Lengthen up through your spine. Rock side to side. So when we rock up to that boat pose, we sometimes get into it a little bit different. And it feels a little different than if we get into it from a seated position. So now that we're seated and we're in that good spot, grab behind your thighs. Pull the belly in and up. Of course, we're going back into a boat pose. Belly's in and up. Lift up the feet. Maybe you choose to leave your feet down. That is always allowed. You are very much allowed to do that. And then while we're staying here in this wonderful, fabulous, enjoyable boat pose, you decide if you want to keep holding your thighs or let them go. That changed everything. And then put your feet back down, hug your knees, lengthen up the spine. You can rock side to side if you want. So I don't want to say that's the last boat pose, but it's the last one for this moment. So to transition, we're going to rock and roll again. And we're going to flip ourselves all the way over to a down dog. Now, do you have to rock and roll to get there? Nope. You might just work your way over there however you want. But if you want to rock and roll, grab the back of your thighs, rock a couple times just to build yourself a little bit of momentum. So then the next time you're up, you cross the ankles, plant the hands, step or jump back, down dog. So find your way to down dog, however you chose to get there. And then when you get there, find some movement. Whatever movement your body's looking for. Settling into the pose whenever you're ready to settle in. Taking those breaths. Next exhale, step or jump your feet to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Settle into this forward fold. Really let yourself hang. Don't anticipate what's coming next. I'm the first one to like have my head halfway lifted, waiting for your next cue. Don't do that. Let it go. On the next inhale, lift up just halfway. Create that illusion of a flat back. Exhale as you fold. On an inhale, come all the way up to standing. Reach the arms all the way overhead. Exhale, chair pose. Nice and early in the practice for our chair pose. Making sure we don't forget it today. Making sure we don't skip it today. Next exhale, forward fold. Taking a breath, lift up halfway. Exhale as you fold. So hands towards the mat. Now, not everyone gets their hands to the mat, okay? So if you don't touch the floor, you can use some blocks, some stacks of books, an upside down laundry basket, whatever you want, because I want hands to touch, even if it's just fingertips. Take this left foot, step back. We're into a runner's lunge. But then we're going to bring the left knee down. So we're still in a lunge, but we're going to wiggle this right foot over. And we're going to bring on the arms on the inside portion of the leg into lizard pose super early in the practice. That's the point. So if we were practicing yin yoga, which yin yoga has its foundation in ancient Chinese medicine and martial arts, but we go into this pose bright and early in the practice, no warm up. So I don't want you to go for your fullest expression. I just want you to go to the point where you're like, yeah, I feel a little something here. And then just stay here and breathe. If you're one of those people that you could go to forearms, you're welcome to take it. But again, it's a yin variation, so we're early in the practice. Maybe you're not ready to go to the forearms. Or maybe your body just doesn't ever want to go to forearms. I know I can only go to forearms on good days. Good days meaning my body's prepared, my body's ready. I prepared it the day before. You know, we worked for it. Good news is that we won't hold it for a full 3 minutes like we would traditionally in yin. 3 to 5 minutes, you know, this is one that I like to hold for 4 or 5 minutes, but we won't do either of those. So come back to the palms if you're not already. Lift up the back knee. Take the right foot, step back. Oh my goodness, our first plank of the practice. Make sure you're breathing. You decide, knees up or knees down. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Up dog or cobra. Cobra just means your thighs are down. It's the only difference. Exhale, down dog. Take a moment and breathe. Notice the difference between right hip and left hip. Step or jump your feet to the top of the mat. Lift up halfway. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Arms reach all the way overhead. Exhale, chair pose. We definitely don't want to forget chair pose. It's always okay to find arm variations that work for you. But just make sure you breathe. Find something to enjoy about the pose. And every time I say that, someone always is like, oh, I really enjoy when we come out of this pose. That's not the same as finding something you enjoy about the pose. Next, exhale, forward fold. Taking in a breath, lift it halfway. Exhale as you fold. Again, hands to the floor, even if it's just fingertips. Whatever you need to help bring the floor up to you. This time, right foot steps back. Runner's lunge. And then right knee comes down. Take that left foot, wiggle it over to the left side of the mat. Still in the lunge. Still safely with that knee over the ankle. Does the knee functionally go past the toes? Absolutely, 110%. The problem is when people have weakness in their legs and their knees go past the toes, they tend to overcompensate things and they put strain in areas that don't need strain. And so it's just safer to say, don't let your knees go past your toes. As a whole, as a collective, it's safer to say that. Taking your time to just breathe in the pose here. We're not going for full expression of the pose. We're just going for that moment of sensation, that moment of discomfort. And I was thinking discomfort, and for some reason, I almost said disappointment. Don't let this pose disappoint you. I'm going to laugh about that all day. Disappointment. All right, come back to your palms if you're not already. Tuck the back toes, lift up the knees. Left foot steps back, high plank already. Belly's in and up. You decide if knees are up or down. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Allow yourself to just breathe. Next exhale, step or jump feet to the top of the mat. Lift up halfway. Exhale as you fold. Inhale all the way up to standing, arms all the way overhead. Exhale, chair pose. Oh my gosh, it's like we haven't been here in a really long time. I'm sure we all missed coming to this pose. Next exhale, forward fold. Taking the breath, lift up halfway. Exhale as you fold. Again, hands to the mat or whatever you need to put your hands on. Left foot steps back, runner's lunge. Stay here. This should feel, I don't know, maybe a little bit more comfortable, a little less disappointment involved with this pose. On an exhale, bring the left knee down to the mat. This time though, inhale, reach the arms up. So we're into a low lunge, Anjaneyasana. So just breathe. So this is where we're going to get fun and funky. We are going to transition. Now don't go, because I want to tell you what we're going to do first. I want you to stay in this pose. Enjoy the benefits of the pose. Enjoy the beauty of the pose. But essentially, we're going to transition Warrior 3 to Eagle pose. But we're going to do it with eagle arms the whole time. So we're going to go into eagle arms right here, right now. Now there's a couple options for you here. If you don't like eagle arms, or maybe your body doesn't like them, you're welcome to do palms, forearms striving to squeeze together. The big thing is elbows are lifted. That doesn't have to happen either. You could easily just opposite hand to opposite elbow, so the elbows are crossed. Otherwise, arms out in front, shoulder height, palms down. Let's take right arm on top of left, crossed above the elbows, bend the elbows. You might get backs of the hands together. They might just flail out a little bit. That's okay. Wrap the hands if you choose. Taking in a breath, and as you exhale, lift up for this warrior three variation with eagle arms. Keep the elbows lifted away from the chest. Always okay to leave the left big toe on the floor. Next, inhale, lift up, left leg comes forward, wraps for eagle pose. So left knee is crossed on top of the right. You can do whatever you want with that left foot. You can hook it around the right calf. I have it hanging out to the side. You can put left toes on the floor or a block. Just keep weight in the right heel. Elbows stay lifted. Hips are down and back. Hips are down and back like you're sitting on the edge of a bar stool. And it's one of those bar stools that you can adjust the height on. And as you sit there, it keeps sinking a little bit lower, a little bit lower, and a little bit lower. Or depending on how much you had to drink, maybe it just feels that way. Next, inhale. You're going to take that left foot, step it back as you open the arms, crescent lunge. So we were just in the lunge, felt fabulous. Now exhale the hands to the mat. Step right foot back, high plank. You decide, knees up or down. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Take this time to breathe. Step or jump your feet to the top of the mat. Lift up halfway. Exhale as you fold. Inhale all the way up to standing, arms overhead. Exhale, chair pose. How exciting. We're back again. Back into this pose. Back into our favorite pose, right? So far, we've done some of my favorite poses. Boat pose, chair pose, eagle pose. Let's try to remember, what are my other favorites? We're probably gonna see them today. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale as you fold, hands to the mat. This time, right foot steps back. Runner's lunge. Stay and breathe. Right knee comes down. Inhale the arms up. A little low lunge. Ooh. Maybe you're having all the feels in the hips today. Maybe you're feeling nothing today. This is where we transition to warrior three, then to our eagle pose. So you have to choose your arm variation. Now, if you decide to keep the same variation, we have to make sure we switch arms, switch variation. But let's say you did eagle arms on the other side, but this side it doesn't feel good. That's okay. Take a different variation. You decide what's happening. If you're going for eagle arms, palms out. This time, left arm on top of the right. Bend the elbows, either back to the hands towards each other or cross the elbows. And I think this is the other side. I might be wrong. Taking in a big deep breath. Exhale, lift up, warrior three. Ooh. And if you flounder a little bit, that's okay. Sometimes Even warriors take a few missteps. Actively lifting the right leg. Next inhale, coming up, right leg wraps the front of the left. And then again, find the variation with your right foot. Does it wrap the calf? Does it hang to the side? The toes go to the floor or a block? Keep the weight in the right foot or the left foot though. The whole left foot stays flat. We keep the arch of the foot lifted. Don't push into the arch of the foot because then you throw off the balance of all your joints. On the next inhale, we untangle everything, step back, crescent lunge. Nice and strong and tall. Exhale, hands to the mat. Left foot steps back. What a wonderful high plank. You decide knees up or down. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Step or jump your feet to the top of the mat. Lift up halfway. Exhale as you fold. Inhale all the way up to standing, arms overhead. Exhale, chair pose. How wonderful that we're here again. If your arms are tired, you can always do palms together, heart center. Next, exhale, forward fold. Taking a breath, lift up halfway. Exhale as you fold. Hands to the mat. Left foot steps back. Runner's lunge. So we're going to transition to triangle pose. And it gets a little tricky and funky if you miss a step. So I want us to take in a breath. Straighten your right leg. Pull your hips back. Does your right leg always go straight? No, it might have a little bend in it. That's okay. So let's bend the knee again, back into a lunge. Taking a breath. Straighten the right leg. Pull the hips back. Exhale, bend the knee. So let's do that again. Taking a breath. Straighten the right leg. But this time we're going to pivot the left foot. So it turns to the left side of the mat. Now my chest is pulled back. My fingertips have pulled back. I'm going to take my right arm on the inside of my right leg. I know I don't comfortably touch the floor in triangle, so I'm not even going to try. I'm going to bring this right arm on the inside of my right leg. Taking a breath, sweep open the left arm. So this might feel a little different than your standard triangle, and that's okay. And if it feels uncomfortable or you're finding disappointment in the pose, then change it. Find a variation that works for you. Next, exhale. Take both hands back to the mat, either side of the right foot. You're going to take the left leg, step it forward just a little bit, about half the distance. I turned my left toes forward. You can have them out a little bit or forward. So essentially, you're in a variation of pyramid pose. Fold it over the right leg. We're going to leave. Left hand either on the floor, on your blocks or whatever prop you have, or to the right leg. We're then going to take in a breath, sweep open the right arm. So this is a twisting triangle. Notice my right arm went directly to the side and then up. At no point Am I rolling my shoulder forward, trying to get my arm to look like it's higher than it really is? It's okay if your arm's directly out to the side. That's okay. That's better than forcing your body to go where it doesn't want to go. Exhale the right hand down. Next exhale, left foot steps forward, forward fold. Take a moment to breathe. You might be feeling some things in the right leg that you don't necessarily feel in the left leg. Taking in a breath, lift up halfway. Exhale as you fold, hands to the mat. Right foot steps back, runner's lunge. So we're gonna prepare the hamstrings of our left leg and then transition into triangle. So taking in a breath, straighten the left leg, pull the hips back. Leg doesn't have to go straight. Sometimes one leg goes straighter than the other. Exhale, bend the knee. Again, hands might not be on the floor. They might be on a prop of some sort. Taking a breath, straighten the left leg, pull the hips back. Exhale, bend the knee back into a lunge. And one more time. Pull the hips back, straighten the left leg. This time though, we take that right foot, pivot to take the foot flat, right toes point to the right side. Left arm comes on the inside portion of the left leg. I know I don't touch the floor, so I'm gonna lift up a little bit more. Taking a breath, right arm goes out and up. And if your hip pops, wonderful. My left hip did a little pop. So that's how we know we needed the pose, when you feel the pops, hear the pops. Keep your head and neck in a comfortable, safe position. Exhale, hands down, either side of the left foot. Right foot steps in about half the distance, and then I turn my toes in. You can keep them out to the side a little bit. It's really your choice. Essentially, now we're in a pyramid pose. Right hand's either on the floor or your props, or the left leg. Inhale, left arm out to the side and up. Again, we're not striving to see how high our arm gets. This is really just a guide of opening the chest. So let the shoulder lead the twist, the left shoulder lead the twist. Your arm will follow. And if it doesn't, you've got other things to worry about. Exhale the hand down. Next exhale, right foot steps forward, forward fold. Taking in a breath, lift up halfway. Exhale as you fold. Take your feet out a little bit wider. So we are going to transition into a Malasana squat, which is not available to everyone. So you're only going to squat as low as you can go. So there's a standard, quote unquote, standard alignment that your feet go out as wide as the mat, heels are on the mat, toes turn out. Mine actually don't go that wide. Everyone's going to be a little bit different, and you might have to adjust when you get there. So find a little bit wider of a stance with your feet, toes turned out, and then bend your knees. Take your hips back. Now you might keep your hands on the floor or a prop and only take your hips really in line with your knees. That is okay. This is okay. If you think you can go a little bit deeper, take it a little bit lower and take it all the way down into your Malasana squat, garland squat. If you get down low, elbows between the knees, palms together, try to keep it upright in your back. That's upright in your back is only if your hips are low. If your hips are more in line with your knees, then keep your chest resting on your thighs. You're going to build some strength. Squats are fabulous. I feel like squats and lunges got a really bad name back in the 80s. And we're still trying to dispel those negative notions about them. Now, this is one of those poses that we practice in yin, and we hold it for 3 to 5 minutes. This is one of my favorites. We do stay here usually about 4 to 5 minutes. And since we're so close to the floor, let's just like reach our hands back and find a way to a seat and bring the legs back together, hug the knees, lengthen up, rock side to side. That's really nice, right? So let's do a little boat pose. I said we were done at the time, not done for the whole practice. We can do one more boat pose, and then we're going to go into my last favorite pose, which I don't think I've practiced with you guys very often. So you might not remember that it's my favorite. So let's go to boat pose first. Belly's in and up. Hold the backs of your thighs. Lift up. Now at this point, your body might be ready for straight legs. You're welcome to take a straight leg variation, or you can take a bent knee variation. That's your choice. And then you decide, do you want to hold your thighs or do you want to let them go? Doesn't matter. Find your variation. I can only do a straight leg variation on occasional days. This is our last one. Our last one. On an exhale, bring your feet down. Hug the knees. Lengthen up the spine. Rock side to side. Wonderful. So now we're going to transition into frog pose, Mandukasana. And so this is a pretty intense one. And this is one of those times you can optionally take child's pose. Not because, oh, child's pose is a rest, but because child's pose is the alternative to frog pose. Legit. So what I want us to do, roll over to our hands and knees, but I want you to turn sideways on your mat. And then we should never experience knee pain in this pose if we're practicing it in the right spot. But to add a little extra cushion, take the ends of the mat, just roll them in a little bit. And if you have some blankets or some pillows there, then you can use blankets or pillows. Once you roll on the ends of the mat, you're going to take your knees out so wide that you're on the inside portion of your knees. Now, I personally have my ankles out as wide as my knees, but I love this pose. Not everyone does. You can bring your feet closer together to decrease the intensity, because then we're going to come down to our forearms. And we're going to stay here and breathe, striving to keep our hips in line with the knees, because our hips will want to go forward. We have to push them back. So again, I'm on the inside portion of my knees. It's really cushioned for me. There's like fat deposits there. I don't know how that happens. But you should not be on your knees. You should not feel your kneecaps. You should not feel pain. If you feel pain, you need to take child's pose. Child's pose is considered the gentler variation of frog pose. Stay here and breathe. Again, feet can be closer together to decrease the intensity. The wider the feet are, the more intense. This is a yin pose. We do stay here for 3 to 5 minutes. We will not stay here for 3 to 5 minutes in today's practice. But make sure, do a little body check, a little body scan. Make sure you're not squeezing tension into the hips, into the inner thighs, because then you're just trying to pull yourself out of the pose. And you can do that by changing the intensity of the pose without putting unnecessary tension in the body. Keep your head and neck in a super safe, comfortable spot. And on your next inhale, gently lift yourself out of the pose. Now, this is one of those poses that if you practiced it correctly, you will feel very stiff coming out of that pose. Wonderful. Once you lift out of it, work your way down to your back. Down to your back. On your back, knees bent. Take a moment just to breathe and notice what is going on with your inner thighs. What is going on with your glutes? What are you feeling right now? On an exhale, pull your knees into your chest. Hug them there. Rock side to side if you want. Take a little happy baby, reaching up between the legs. You might grab feet or ankles or calves or thighs, pulling down on the legs with whatever you have a hold of. And then you do have the option to rock side to side. Release the legs, knees back to the chest. And on your next exhale, take both your knees to the right side of your body. Arms out in a T shape. Taking a moment just to breathe. Breathe and be aware of sensations within your body. Within your body, and I say within your body, but navel to knees. What are you feeling? What's going on there? Next, inhale, pull the knees back into your chest. Hug them there for a moment. And exhale, both knees. Go to the left side of your body. Arms in the T shape. Take a moment just to breathe. Consider this the beginning of your rest period, the beginning of the moment where you really get to rest. So check in with the body, make sure you're not holding unnecessary tension. Unnecessary tension somewhere in the body that doesn't need unnecessary tension. Next, inhale, hug the knees into the chest, squeeze them in tight. This is where you get to really thank yourself for coming into the practice today, giving yourself this gift of yoga. And on an exhale, extend yourself out on the mat. Prepare yourself for Shavasana, however you want to take your Shavasana. So it could be legs long, could be knees bent, could be arms out or arms in. Once you get into your super comfortable spot, either close your eyes or find a focal point to focus on. Lengthen and deepen your breath. And allow yourself to relax and give yourself the rest that you deserve. Bringing the awareness back into your breath, back into your body. As you start to bring in those little movements into the fingers and toes, and those little movements work their way up to ankles and wrists, and even into, shoulders and hips, depending on how much you're creating movement. Adding in a little rock of the head, side to side. And if there's other movements that you want at this moment to reawaken yourself, you're welcome to take them. And on an inhale, roll yourself over to one side of your body into a fetal position. In the fetal position, which again is probably on my list of favorite poses. So I find it to be very important and very just an afterthought, very much an afterthought. So take a moment and just breathe. This is when we can become aware of the energy we created in the practice, the energy that's moving and flowing through our body. And on your next inhale, push yourself up into a comfortable seat, any comfortable seat. And when you get there into your seat, either close your eyes or find a focal point and bring your palms together at heart center. With all of the gratitude for joining me in practice this afternoon, and with everything in me thanking and honoring everything in you, namaste.
Namaste.
Awesome job. Glad y'all joined me on a Monday.